Hi, everybody. We're going to do something a little bit different this week. When we started making these videos, the whole idea of this was to give people information that they could use to make better real estate decisions. And this week, we're noticing kind of an interesting trend in some of the statistics, and I think it might present a unique opportunity. So, we're going to talk about this week, and that is why it might be the right time to take another look at condos. Let's get started. My name is Stephen Meade, and this is our SoCal first time buyer market update. I'm with Domicile Real Estate, where we're on a mission to help California's renters become homeowners. And today we are talking about condos. And before we get into this, there's kind of a bit of a perfect storm that I think is causing some of the information that you're about to see when we run through our charts. And there are a lot of reasons that condos are a bit tricky right now. And I would tell you, now is not the time to hire your friend who just got their real estate license to represent you on the purchase of a condo. Condos are fundamentally more complicated than single family homes, interestingly enough, even though the prices are less. There are a lot of intricacies with the HOAs and the documents that you will receive. There are also some interesting laws here in California. For example, by the beginning of this year, every HOA with a certain type of exposed balcony was required to have inspections by an architect, structural, or civil engineer. And to determine the structural integrity of those balconies and whether repairs need to be made. Obviously, this was an unplanned expense for a lot of HOAs. Right now, a lot of HOAs are having difficulty getting insurance for their complexes. And if you do not have adequate insurance coverage, you cannot get normal financing on that condo. So there are a lot of little idiosyncrasies to work through, but I think there is an opportunity. Whenever there's trouble, I think this is a chance that there's a bit of an advantage. If you're willing to be the person who is willing to dive into that kind of thing, I think you can find that there are a lot of great opportunities out there. Let's get started, and I will show you exactly what I mean by the numbers. So if we take a look right here in our closed graph, what are we really noticing? I think overall, you'll see that the red line in the condos, those entry-level condos have had a little bit of a soft trajectory, right? And right now, you'll even see that we've got, in fact, a reverse trajectory from single-family home prices, right? Single-family homes are having a little bit of a moment, especially at the entry-level end of the market. And entry-level condos are having exactly the opposite type of a moment. And I think it's because of a lot of these complications. But again, a smart agent can help you weed through some of that stuff and sort of find the diamonds in the rough, if you will. Now, if we're looking at our payments, I think this really puts it into perspective. If we were to go back to this point last year, the difference between the payment on a entry-level single-family home and an entry-level condo in LA and Orange counties was, that was approximately $1,500, right? If we go there and look at that difference today, right? I mean, that is a huge, huge difference. That gap has widened tremendously between those two. So again, I think relatively speaking, condos are at a point where I think this might be a place to make a move. These issues that we're seeing with condos, the balconies, as well as some of the insurance issues, those issues will be resolved. And I think you're going to see that condo market bounce back, especially because it will be the entry-level option. So I think it's smart money to really be looking in that direction right now. We look at our minimum household income required. I mean, there we even see an even bigger disparity, right? Like $107,000 for that entry-level condo, and gosh, approaching $170,000 for that entry-level single-family home. Again, we see another divergence here, right? If we're looking at our 14-day absorption rate, we have a relative, a pretty low point here at 47% for condos, and yet we are at 68% on those entry-level single-family homes. So again, we're seeing a widening level of demand, right? The rate at which these units are being snapped up. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer and you need help with closing costs, you might be a lower down payment buyer, all these things give you more options when negotiating, and they give you a little bit more power and a little bit more leverage. If we look at our total inventory, we do see that these numbers are both heading up, but I'm going to tell you there's a big difference between what's going on in the entry level single family home and the entry level condo markets in kind of our final chart here. We look at our days still active. We see that these are also, remember, higher is less competitive in this market. We are definitely seeing that buyers are being picky for both of these categories. But this is the one that I think really brings it home. So even though the inventory level is rising for single family homes in terms of the number of homes available, so is the number of homes that are going under contract. So that means the weeks of inventory or the relative inventory is largely unchanged at about 9.5 weeks. But look at what is happening in this condo market. Since the middle of March, we've seen it go from 11.5 weeks to almost 20 weeks of inventory. So when I see a chart like this, especially when I see it spreading from what's happening in the single family homes, I think to myself, this is a great opportunity. This is the right time to be looking at those condos and maybe take another look, especially if you're the kind of buyer who has bigger plans, right? This might let you get into something that's a little bit lower maintenance, especially again, if you are careful, you review those HOA documents, and you make sure that you're vetting the HOA that you are buying into. Anyhow, that's all I've got for you this week. I hope you are having a great week. Questions and comments, as always, we love those. If you would like to have our expertise on your next purchase, especially if you are a first-time home buyer or if you're any kind of buyer for that matter, we would absolutely love to help you if you're in the Southern California area. And if you are not, we know lots of great agents in pretty much every market around the country that work like we do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And we will see you again real soon.